Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Tech. In this video, we are going to discuss about a project and I've named this project a multi-URL chatbot. So this is a simple RAG project which takes multiple URL as inputs and it can answer based on different URL. It can query different URLs, information in those different URLs, and that's how it works. So without wasting further time, let's see the code. So first off, there's a lot of imports here and okay. Another thing is we need to install Streamlit package, which we have not installed till now. I have installed, you have not installed till now. So let's go ahead. To install Streamlit, simply we have to open our command prompt and we need to write pip install Streamlit. That's it. And it must be already installed in my system, but let's see what happens. Yes, requirement already satisfied. Now let's understand the code bit by bit. First of all, we have initialized our LLM, set our API keys, that's simple. And then there is this st.title multi-URL chatbot. So what it is, we don't know about st. We have imported Streamlit as st and then .title multi-URL chatbot. So what it does is it will put a title or heading as multi-URL chatbot. So Streamlit is an open source Python framework which delivers user interface or data applications. So it is a part of Streamlit package. So you can go and refer to Streamlit's documentation, or otherwise if you want another tutorial on Streamlit, so you can comment down that below and I'll make a video for that. So this st.title, what it does is it will create a heading that writes multi-URL chatbot. And next there will be URL input for multiple URL. So there will be a text area, and in that text area you'll write this particular thing, enter URL, and inside that text box there is this example.com and \n https another.com. So two different lines. Once we jump into our user interface, things will be more clear, but let us just go briefly. And then another is URL says we have to split different URLs. So we are taking multiple URLs and in between those we have this new line, and that's how we'll split those URLs, by splitting the lines. And once we have URL, we have to select URL from the select box. And then if we have selected the URL, st.write selected URL, it will create another text box and it will show a selected URL followed by the link of that particular URL or that particular URL. If response not in st.session state, so what it does is it creates multiple session, or if you are using it locally, if you're hosting it locally, it will create single session, or if you're deploying it, it will create multiple sessions. If that response is there is in that particular session state, it will go further, otherwise not. Simple. So session state response is welcome to the chatbot, how can I assist you? And see, I guess things might not be much clear, but once we are in the user interface, it will be clear. So let's see how it works. The basic LangChain part. First, we need to create our AI embedding. We are using Mistral embeddings for that. And then we are using web-based loader to select particular URL, and then it will fetch data from that URL and it will create a document out of it. It will split it into different chunks, and the different chunks will be stored in a document and it will be stored in a vector space, that is FAS vector database or FAS vector store. Then we have our prompt, that is read the complete context, given information about context, and solve questions strictly related to context. And then we'll provide the context, and then we will ask the question, followed by document chain, retrieval chain. The same thing we discussed in the previous video, and I'll put link of the previous video somewhere here so you can go check it out. And then we have container. We have two container. One is going to be a response container, another is going to be a text container. So if we go through a basic chatbot, there are two people in conversation or a basic chat user interface. So that's why there will be an AI response container, and then there will be a human text container. So with text container, it will contain the query of user, and in the response container, it will process everything and it will generate the response and it will store it right there. So it's a simple basic project, and let's see how we are going to run this code. We are not going to click on this run button and we are running this. So what we are going to do is, let's start our terminal. We'll write streamlit, then run, and followed by the name. And name in this particular case is multi-url.py. Also, by the way, we are not going to run this app locally, but we'll also deploy it on Streamlit and we'll see how we are going to use it there. So stay tuned till the end of the video so that you don't miss anything. So now it's done. Let's go and search something. Let's go back to my GitHub profile and we can search this particular thing about my profile. Let's see what it is. And then we'll query something about my GitHub profile and let's see if the chatbot can answer about that or not. We are going ahead with a single URL as of now. So CTRL enter to apply. We saw this multi-URL chatbot as heading. Then there was another thing, enter URL one per line, and then this container box which contains URLs. And once we have clicked CTRL plus enter, we can have a interaction box in which we can choose particular URL. Since we have only one URL here, so we are choosing this. Welcome to the chatbot. How can I assist you? And let's write what is this context about it, or let's go more specific. Okay, let's ask how many repositories are there. Okay, what is this context about? This context is about the GitHub profile of a user named Pratiraj06, which appears to be a B student pursuing dual degree in BS and BTech with a focus on data science and artificial intelligence. That's a cool answer. And let's search about how many repositories are there. I guess it won't fetch exact number because there may be few private repositories and it's not going to fetch that particular repository. So I can see there are 15 repositories here. It may answer somewhere around 13 or 14, I guess, if there's any private repository. Okay, based on context, there are 5 repositories mentioned. So most probably it went right there and it fetched repositories from this particular thing. But yes, all these repositories are there in my GitHub account. And now we know how to run this code locally. So let's go ahead and deploy it on Streamlit. For that, you need to go on Streamlit's website and Streamlit. Here you need to log in or create your account. Go to my apps, continue to sign in. Okay, even I need to sign in here. Continue with Google. So what you need to do is you need to post the particular code on your GitHub, and once you have posted your code on GitHub, link your Streamlit account with GitHub. You can go on my apps, or you can go here, you can create an app, deploy a public app from GitHub, deploy a public app from a template. Okay, you have three options. We are going ahead with deployment with GitHub. Deployment now. So my GitHub is already linked and I can choose which one I need to deploy. So multi-URL chatbot, as we can go and see everything. App URL optional, we can change this URL and deploy it directly. The thing is I've deployed it earlier, so let's go back, and this is the code. So there are few changes that needs to be done, and that is, let's go back to our code. If we have created a repository and we have pushed our code there, we can't use this from API import grok API key, Mistral API key, something like this. API keys are confidential. So what we are going to do is we'll go here, we'll go to settings and then secrets. In the secret, you need to save your API key in a string format, such as grok API key, and then is equal to, in a string you have to paste your API key. That's it. And then you need to save the changes and you're done. And then you have to go back to your GitHub and do few necessary changes. Let's go back there. So instead of grok API key or Mistral API key, what you need to write here is st.secrets, and then inside that you need to write the name of the secret you have created in your Streamlit account, and the same for Mistral or any other API key you're storing right there. And that's it. The code is already available in my GitHub repository. You can go and you can check out the code. That's it for this video. We have learned how to use Streamlit on a basic level, and now we know how to deploy our code on Streamlit using GitHub. And go ahead, check out the code, like the video, share it with your friends, and comment if you want to say anything, if you want to share anything. You can check out the code on my GitHub profile. Link is there in the description.